We're here in the School of Technology at Oxford Brookes University. We're inside a really nice motorsport engineering centre. We teach automotive engineering, and our current interest really is with automotive sustainability. And part of automotive sustainability is a huge interest in electric mobility and reducing energy in use in transport.
The EMO project, it's short for E-mobility accelerator. It's about bringing a few partners together that all have different expertise and some sort of pilot projects. And if we bring that together, then we can learn from each other, exchange knowledge, share some experiences, and then build from there.
We're heavily involved in the UK in developing the EV market. It's a very exciting but challenging area to work in. Challenging because we're breaking new ground. For many years, the motor car in its conventional form, internal combustion engine, has been loved and driven, but to change the mindset and look for new opportunities which will help us to reduce carbon emissions and improve air quality, it's essential that we look at other forms of propulsion.
We're getting engaged with the whole electric vehicle debate in the UK. And it's really, truly an exciting time because lots of motor manufacturers are busily developing electric cars, and lots of their suppliers are developing the technologies associated with that. And it's one thing to look at technology, it's quite another to get the public acceptance of a new technology, something different. So what we're aiming to do, both as a university and within various research projects, is to examine the case that makes sense economically, but also is something that is fun and something that people want to engage in, something that's interesting.
There is a lot of interest in electric vehicles, both from government and from like electric power companies and so on.
We started off because we realized that everybody is doing pilot projects with 5 or 15 cars, and then in the end, yeah, it's just a small pilot. But if you have 5 different pilots together, then suddenly you have a whole wealth of information and people can learn from that.
As part of the EMOB project, we developed what we call a regional soundboard in the early stages of the project. So we got together a group of people from this region, local authorities, businesses, stakeholders. They were willing to come together to discuss ideas for making money out of e-mobility. And eventually we built up one particular business case for Oxfordshire, which we've called the low carbon community. And that combines energy generation using photovoltaic panels on roof spaces, industrial premises or private houses, combined with an electric usership scheme whereby people would pay an annual charge to be able to use different types of transport. Now, as a result of us developing our business case, we got together with our partners in Sweden only a week later actually. And in the meeting in Sweden we had people from Poland and from Spain and from Holland, and they revealed their business cases. They'd talked to their regional policy people too. And we had a sharing session of these business cases, and it turned out that the main theme for 3 of them anyway was the overall objective for their region was to improve air quality and to reduce congestion.
For the region of Andalusia, electric mobility is quite a big issue because we have a very important touristic industry, and air quality and the general quality of life is quite a big thing for our industry and for our region.
Krakow is a former capital of Poland, visited every year by a huge number of tourists. We have already 250 electrical vehicles in Krakow, used by tourists to visit the city. Within the EMOB project, with the help of the partners, we would like to introduce electrical vehicles in Poland, beginning from the Malopolska region.
We are working in a business case about tourists, hotels and tour operators, and we want to introduce in our city and all our coast to have car sharing.
One of the interesting things about the UK in particular is the size of the so-called fleet market. That's the number of vehicles which are considered to be owned by businesses or bought by businesses. It's about 64% of all new car sales in the UK. Now in other countries in Europe the mix is a little bit different and the fleet is not so high, but it's still quite significant. If we can influence business to buy electric vehicles, cars or light commercial vans for say local delivery, then that suddenly becomes a very visible representation of new technologies, and then private consumers would look at these things and think that's interesting, that's a very quiet looking vehicle, might go and buy one themselves.
One of the big achievements that we had being a part of EMOB is first of all very good contact, a network all over Europe, which gives you a great overview of where the electric vehicle market is in Europe today, what kind of impacts that will have on Uppsala, Stockholm, and also a lot of information about the test sites and the trials that's going on, and the information that is gathered.
When we went to Malaga, we noticed that they're very active. They just go out and try different things. Whereas in Holland, we kind of like to debate and come up with some policies and regulations first before trying something. So that was really inspiring for us. And if we see in Oxford, we sort of share the same problems and they approach it differently than we do. And that's really interesting for us, and therefore we can learn from each other.
The most important things in this project is this capability to attracting attention and to make people realize that there are some important things we should do about electric mobility right now for the next few years.
We were delighted to get the opportunity to work with this e-mobility accelerator team and to, yes, share some of our learning, but also to look at business cases across all the regions. We're hoping to share that information with all the car manufacturers, government stakeholders, universities, and of course partners throughout Europe.
The great thing about the project currently is that we are working with partners in lots of different regions. Within those regions there are a lot of people working together as little mini networks, if you like. And I think you could truly say that as we move forward and also work with people in other consortia and other projects, we are indeed teaming up to accelerate the introduction of e-mobility.